Good morning, everyone. I would like to call to order the teleconference meeting of the Rules, Policy, and Industrial Relations Committee of Friday, August 28, 2020. Before we begin, please be advised this meeting is being recorded. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Good morning, everyone. Starting with Director Belforte.
Present.
Present. Director Grosboll. Absent. Director Hernandez. Absent. Director Hill.
Here.
Present. Vice Chair Curio.
Here.
Present. Chair Arnold.
Here.
Present. And President Parr.
Present.
Present. You have a quorum, but you're not a committee of the whole. Also on the line is Director Scoble, Director Maston, and Director Frederick.
Okay, thank you. Can we now confirm the staff that's online?
Thank you. We're going to confirm that the General Manager, Dennis Mulligan, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Joe Wire, are you on the line?
Yes.
Thank you. Ava Bauer-Furbish, are you on the line?
Present.
Thank you. And Kim Manolius, are you on the line?
Yes, I am, Emirate. Thanks.
Thank you. Steve Miller, are you on the line?
Present.
Thank you. Mona Babauta, are you on the line?
Yes, present.
Thank you. Jim Swindler, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. And Kelly Hopper, are you on the line?
Present.
Perfect. Thank you. That concludes all the staff that is on the line. Thank you.
Great. Good morning, staff. Nice to hear your voices. I would like to remind everyone to mute their phones until after staff's presentation and we open up for director discussion. After staff's presentation, I will be asking for any comments and/or questions on the item. If there are questions, the Secretary will call on you accordingly. All right. After the discussion portion, we will ask for any public comment before taking a roll call vote. Each page of the meeting packet is numbered on the bottom right-hand corner for ease of following along. We will begin with item 3 on the agenda, which is to authorize changes for group medical coverage for Board of Directors. The staff report begins on page 3, and we have Kelly Hopper on the line to present the report. Ms. Hopper, can you please begin your presentation?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning to the committee. The item we have before you this morning is to modify the benefit program for the Board of Directors, and there are 4 components that are associated with this recommendation. The first one is to approve the transition of the health care coverage for the Board of Director members to the Calpers healthcare system effective January 1, 2021. The second recommendation is to approve the establishment of a health reimbursement account for members of the Board of Directors who enroll in specified Calpers medical plans. The third recommendation is to modify access to medical coverage for retired members of the Board of Directors to include only district-administered non-medical benefits effective January 1, 2021. And then lastly is to approve any updates to district policies as appropriate. For a brief background, as the board knows and the committee knows that in June, the board approved the transition of the Golden Gate medical system for our ATU members, our bus operators, as well as our non-represented members, employees, and retirees to transition to the Calpers medical health system effective January 1, 2021. There are some similar advantages that would be available as well in transitioning the Board of Directors, and that is why staff is making that recommendation today. And just for ease of understanding, I will address it both for changes, what the changes will be for our active directors as well as for retired directors. In terms of the active directors, currently the board is allowed to have access to any district benefit that the district offers, as long as they pay the premium share equivalent to the premium that the district charges to employees who are in the highest wage bracket, and that's currently 8.5% of the monthly premium. Staff is recommending that there are no changes to the premium share structure. So in essence, what this would mean is that our board members who chose our district programs, one of the magic three that we often tell our employees about, which is PERS Kaiser, PERS Choice, or PERS Select. PERS Choice is a PPO, PERS Select is a PPO, and the PERS Kaiser. For board members who are enrolled in one of those three plans, they would continue to pay the 8.5% monthly premium for those plans. And as with our active employees, it is the recommendation that if a director chooses any other plan than one of those three, they would pay the difference of the plan, the cost of that plan versus the PERS Select PPO, in addition to the 8.5% premium share. And that is how the plan is set up currently for our active employees. A component of this recommendation also includes the establishment of a health reimbursement card that is a district-funded card that if an employee or board member, in this case a board of director, who enrolls in PERS Kaiser, PERS Select PPO, or PERS Choice PPO, they would receive a district-funded HRA card that would be funded each year in the amounts that are outlined in the staff report. So if you're in Kaiser, PERS Select PPO, or PERS Choice PPO, you would have, based on your tier, your employee plus one, or family, an HRA card would be provided. Now, just as a reference and a reminder, those HRA cards can only be used to pay for qualified medical expenses and copays, as well as prescription copays. And those balances do not roll over at the end of the year. If a board member chooses to enroll in any other plan, there would not be an HRA card that would be available. So that's in essence what the recommended changes are for our active directors. For our retired directors, in looking and researching this, actually the resolution went back to 1975, which was actually quite interesting for us to see. Resolutions in the files for that is that the resolution stated that if a board of director had 5 or more continuous years of service, they would have the opportunity to continue having access to the district's medical benefits. In having the access, they were responsible for paying for the full premium of that coverage. And then currently, when Medicare eligible retirees are eligible for coverage, they are allowed or have the opportunity to choose either the Kaiser Senior Advantage or join the individual supplemental program that the district currently has for its retirees through VIA benefit. And again, the board of directors must pay the district for the cost of that coverage, and then we coordinate that benefit. However, under the Calpers rules, retired members, to be able to have access to Calpers retiree medical, must be able to receive a pension from the agency at which they worked or served. And given that the district does not offer a pension to our retired board members, therefore Calpers has ruled that our board of directors, retired board of directors, would not be eligible to have access to the Calpers medical coverage upon their departure. However, I think it's important to note that retired directors would continue to have access to our vision, our dental, and our life insurance coverage under the existing resolution in 1975, provided that they pay the full premium for that coverage. I just want to note, though, that this is not leaving our retired board of directors out to dry. Our staff will continue to work with the retired medical eligible directors who want to attain the Calpers Senior Advantage, for instance, or try to obtain coverage through a marketplace or insurance exchange that's available. We would continue to provide that service. And again, because our retired board of directors were paying for the full cost of the coverage before, this recommendation will actually streamline it for them, in that they will have that direct financial connection between the marketplace or their carriers and themselves. So that concludes my report. I'm available for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the committee? If so, Madam Secretary, would you call on those board members?
Director Maston has a comment.
All right. Please, go ahead.
The first resolved in the resolution has a typo. Just thought I'd point it out, and it's the effective date. It says January 1st, 20,201. I believe it should be 2021.
Thanks for pointing that out, Director Maston. Yes, we have an extra 0 there. We will correct it before it's finalized and signed. Thank you.
Otherwise, I think it's a great plan.
Okay. Madam Secretary, are there any more board members with questions or comments?
I don't believe so. We can poll the public for comments. I believe there's one speaker on this item, but we'll poll the comment line again to see if there's an additional speaker. Hang on one second.
Okay.
Okay, so today we have Ms. Helen Moore on the line to speak to us. So hang on one second and we'll connect the line.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Moore. Go ahead with your comments.
Thank you very much. My name is Helen Moore. I'm a retired, non-represented employee from the district, and I've submitted in writing two documents, actually, but one I will want to read into public comment. And this I see as being addressed similarly, non-represented employees and current employees. But what was the decision to discontinue the HRA account from funding the 213D allowed expenses for the IRS? What will happen to those at the end of this year? Does that go back to the district in the future? Where will those funds go? This has been an issue for most employees and retirees, represented and non-represented, that they've saved their HRA funds from whether they were in the bronze plan or whether they've been getting the annual stipend. And people have saved that money so that they can have money available for health events, including expensive hospital stays, surgeries, major dental expenditures entirely covered by insurance, or durable medical equipment such as CPAP devices, hearing aids, or retrofitting for safety issues at home after a, let's say, a stroke or some other debilitating problem. Why is the district making this decision? And I'm presuming the district this decision because they're managing the third-party contractor who will have these cards with the funds deposited on them. Right now, there is a particular group of employees, and those are ATU members, are allowed to, according to the documents that were presented on slide 32 for ATU, it says the existing HRA balance will be rolled over onto the Calpers HRA. It does make the funding stipulations about qualified medical, prescription copays, and coinsurance, and the balances will roll over each year. Why do they get that and no one else does? Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, I'm going to call on either Ms. Kelly or Mr. Mulligan to answer that question. Do we have any other members from the public?
That is all the speakers we have under this item.
All right, great. Please then, go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
We'll send a written response to the speaker so that she has a written response from us. I think that she may be misreading the slides with respect to the ATU health plans. What's proposed before you is that the non-represented employees, the non-represented retirees, and the board members would all have the same medical benefits as the bus operators. The reason we're shifting to Calpers medical plans is to save the district money. The district is a very small entity to go out and purchase insurance for medical in the marketplace. And so if we have a couple hundred employees that we're trying to buy insurance for, we do not have the same buying power as Calpers, who buys insurance for 1.4 million members. And so their rates are much, much cheaper. Previously, we had high deductible plans as one of the options for our employees. Those high deductible plans had tremendous financial risk for our employees. So we set aside money in health reimbursement accounts to backstop that risk. That is not the employee's money. If an employee parts ways with the district, that money reverts back from that account into the district. But the intent of the HRAs was to cover their medical expenses. And with those high deductible plans, we had high HRAs. Transitioning to Calpers, we will offer HRAs for actually more plan options, albeit but not all plan options, but the risk is much, much less, so the HRA amounts are less. So the money that's in the traditional existing HRAs will go back into the district coffers, and new money will be put in commensurate with the risk of the new plans. It will free up money. We're going through very difficult economic and financial challenges associated with COVID-19. So quite frankly, the HRA money that reverts to the district will protect jobs and reduce the size of any upcoming potential layoffs. So hopefully that addresses Ms. Moore's questions, but we will provide a more detailed written response to her comments.
Thank you very much. Madam Secretary, are there any other comments from the public?
No, there are no further comments on this item.
All right. So if there are no public comments, Vice Chair Terrio, would you please move this item?
So moved.
And Director Del Forte, would you second it, please?
Sure. Second.
All right. Madam Secretary, would you call the roll for the vote?
Thank you. Since we are a committee, we're not a committee of the whole, I will just be calling on the committee members. And just to note, Director Grosville did join us shortly after the item started, so he is in the room as well.
Okay.
Director Belforte?
Yes.
Thank you, yes. Director Grosville?
Yes.
Thank you. Director Hernandez? Absent. Director Hill?
Yes.
Yes. Vice Chair Terrio?
Yes.
Yes. Chair Arnold?
Yes.
Yes. And President Barr?
Yes.
Thank you. Item 3 passes 6-0.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to item number 4, which is to receive a statement of actuarial opinion regarding the cost impact of retiree health benefit plan changes in accordance with California Code 7507 relative to the transition of district health plans to the Calpers health system for amalgamated transit union and non-represented employees and retirees. The staff report begins on page 9, and I'm going to ask Joe Wire to present this report. Mr. Wire, please begin.
Thank you very much. And to the full committee, we're here to talk about the actuarial analysis that was done on transitioning the district non-rep employees, ATU employees. Also, we looked at the painters and the directors in case they were decided the decision was made to transition them. The reason this work was done is there is a California code, which mentions in the title, that requires an actuarial analysis, and the intent of this is to provide the decision makers and the public with at least an actuarial cost of what the change in the benefits would be. And that's to give a much longer-term horizon to the decision makers and to the public to know what the dollars and cents effect would be of changing healthcare costs, of changing healthcare programs. So what the actuary did was look at the new program and figure on how does that impact the overall long-term costs of the district. There's a chart on your second page of your report, which is page number 10. And in the middle of that, it shows those costs, although it uses actuarial wording to explain what they are. But the second one down, which is actuarial accrued liability, and that's in the top box, that is essentially what the actuary thinks the cost of the benefits will be and how they differ, given that we're recommending this change. And that difference would be approximately $4.6 million over the period that they looked at, which is a multi-year actuarial period. And so essentially about a 4% change. It would reduce those costs. So in other words, what the actuary is essentially telling you is that there's, according to their analysis, that this change in benefits would reduce the expected cost of those long-term costs of those benefits by approximately 4%. And then the second thing the actuary does is, which is in the lower box on that table, is it also looks at the actuarial determined contribution, or the ADC, and that is the amount that the district places into the trust, the OPEB trust, each year to pay these benefits and then to set aside money to ensure that they're fully funded in the future. Right. What the actuary is saying about that amount is it expects that amount to decrease by approximately $1 million. That decrease would go into effect not this fiscal year, but next fiscal year, and then would be, of course, adjusted in the future to any future change in assumptions. And as we've talked in the past, the actuaries have numbers of changes of assumptions that could occur that aren't actually directed to benefits, but to do with costs in the medical arena or in instance and use of the benefits by our employees and retirees. So it would have both the actuarial determined contribution reduction cost is a direct reflection of the fact that the overall benefits are perceived to be less expensive over time in that program. The report has a lot of detail and is attached, a number of pages that go through and break it out by the various groups. But essentially it's all summed up in that one table that we just looked at. So if there are any other questions, I'm happy to answer them, but that is a summary of the actuary's work.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wire. Are there any questions on item 4? If you hear any, Madam Secretary, please call on the board members.
Will do. I don't hear any board members with questions, but what I'll do is I'll pull the comment line one more time on this item just to see if there's any speakers for this item.
Great, thank you.
We have no speakers on this item.
Okay. So that concludes discussion on item number 4. And before we take our vote, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
Confirming that there's no other speakers for this item.
Great, thank you. All right. So, Vice Chair Theriault, would you please move the item?
Yes, I move to accept the report.
And Director Grosball, will you second the item?
Second.
Madam Secretary, please do a roll call.
Thank you. Starting with Director Belforte.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Director Grosball.
Yes.
Yes. Director Hernandez. Absent Director Hill.
Yes.
Yes. Vice Chair Tirio.
Yes.
Yes. Chair Arnold.
Yes.
Yes. And President Parr. President Parr, are you still on the line?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm muted. Yes.
That's okay. Thank you. The motion passes 6-0. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And before we adjourn the Rules Committee, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak or to address the committee?
We will check one last time for any public comment before we adjourn. Hang on a second.
Okay.
We have Ms. Moore would like to make a one more comment under public comment, so we will connect that call in just 1 second. Hang on.
Thank you.
Ms. Moore, you're connected again. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. My concern about what's going on with the district, I understand that COVID-19 has affected all public agencies across the United States, from small governments to larger governments. My concern is not with the actual health insurance that's being mitigated to Calpers. That actually makes some sense for the district, and granted it's not always the same insurance levels we've had, but I understand that. My concerns have to do with the HRA application. And people don't lose their money when they retire. They don't lose their money from year in, year out. I do understand Mr. Mulligan saying if they resign or are terminated, of course they would lose that money. But this is different. These are people who made decisions and chose plans and have participated for years. I participated the first year there was a bronze plan and chose to leave it the following year. So I just want to make that clarification. My concerns today are about the HRA and its management. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Moore. Madam Secretary, are there any other comments from the public?
There are no other public comments.
All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting, please?
So moved. Also move.
And a second? Can you second the motion?
Second.
Sure.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much, colleagues. That concludes the meeting of the Rules, Policy, and Industrial Relations Committee, and the time is 9:28 a.m.